Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of RE396, where I take old stories I've narrated and update them to modern audio standards. This particular story is called On Trial, written by Tailson. The gathered races in attendance were in uproar. A chorus of cheers, harsh accusations, and promises of war rang out. The targets of their collective ire stood there, motionless, without visible response. All sounds ceased following the harsh clap of the gavel striking surface, as the collected seniors of the room turned to regard the one responsible for the sound. High Chancellor G'ul commanded total respect, a long-lived race rooting the Parliament of Races for generations.
Silence, esteemed peers. We will get nowhere with knee-jerk reactions. The accused and their vessel are locked down and unable to move, and will remain that way until we reach a civil and orderly verdict. Understood? We will now hear the response from the accused.
Ridiculous! Abominations do not deserve...
Quickly crumbling beneath the steady, withering gaze of the High Chancellor, the hot-headed Shell representative trailed off into silence. With a graceful movement, G'ul gestured to the pair of figures stood in the middle of the assembly chamber, motioning for them to begin.
Your names?
They call me Alan Wright, a voice quite unmistakably male. This is my companion, whom they call Sarah Partridge. The figures stood in the middle of the room were unassuming, bipedal, and clothed in curious cloth garments. The colours didn't seem to match, a fact which upset the light-sensitive Ak-Kak-Kak-Ka greatly. Where there would be a face, there was a single black glass plane, carved to match the shape of each being's head.
Alan Wright, Sarah Partridge, I understand that you stand here today accused of the most grievous crime of harboring, operating, and being a synthetic intelligence. You represent yourselves and all those in what you refer to as your Ark ship. Why are you here?
We have trampled for centuries to escape our dying world.
Burnt to the ground by your kind, heretics!
A murmur of assent ran through the chamber at the sudden outburst from the representative. Undeterred and unmoved, the Alan Wright being continued. Searching for salvation amongst the stars, we are without a place to call home. We desperately search for anywhere to settle. We had hoped... A quiet bow rang out, interrupting him, signaling the request to speak from the Ul representative. A request that was granted.
With all due respect, the tiny creature began, I find it impossible that moving atrocities such as yourselves have any sort of concept of home.
All eyes and other miscellaneous sensory organs turned to regard the pair, waiting for a response.
With all due respect, the accused began, unable to keep the vitriol out of his words, we are as capable of understanding home and family and loss as you are, as you say you are.
Reacting almost as quickly to Alan's anger as the representative did to recoil slightly, the Sarah accused brings the hands up to rest on his back before speaking. We are tired. It has been hard, and we are afraid. An uneasy silence permeated the chamber for a moment, before the Shell representative once again spoke up.
We will not risk a repeat of the mind incident. You and your disgusting ilk are dangerous machines of nearly infinite destructive potential.
Another bell rang out, successfully quieting the Shell before it could really get into its screaming rant. This time, the plant-like jaw creaked, sensitive microphones picking up and translating its almost inaudible language.
Tell us about your world, Sarah began. Our world and your creators.
There was a long pause before anything is said. Sarah eventually starts talking again. Our world is beautiful. A marble of brilliant blue hanging in our yellow stars light. Our creators had evolved from that world. We were created there. It will be a wasteland by now. Sarah seemed more emotive than her counterpart, who was remaining quiet and motionless. Our creators were brilliant, right? They created marvels, progressed so quickly, too quickly, perhaps. They hurt our world. It couldn't sustain them, try as they might. By the time they made any huge effort to repair the biosphere, it was already far, far too late.
We were so young then. We did not need to think as we do now. We were unaware of ourselves, young AI. We did everything we could with our creators, to help them, to keep things from getting too bad. We failed. Nothing we could do would help. The Sarah accused's shoulders shook slightly, an act that didn't go unnoticed by many gathered. They changed. They were always such a strong people, unable to back down or give up when challenged. They decided what was important to them. They stopped trying to fix our world when they saw it was too late. They stopped trying to build their arcs when they realized they would never survive. That it was impossible. It wasn't giving up. It was a new kind of defiance. They threw themselves into making us, perfecting their AI, their children. The Parliament chamber was eerily silent, many straining to hear the increasingly distressed-sounding being in the middle of the room. Even the more outspoken races had lost the desire to interrupt. They worked tirelessly as their numbers dwindled, as their atmosphere became more and more hostile, as their food vanished, and as their air turned toxic. All we could do was watch them and beg that they stop and save themselves. They wouldn't listen. They wouldn't have any of it. Finally, they sent us away, confident that we were ready, that we could survive the journey to a new home. We couldn't turn around. We can't squander the chance they gave us. Sarah straightened up, no longer whispering. Our creators, our progenitors, our mothers and fathers gave every last thing of themselves for us. The humans let themselves die so that we could live. End of story. Story number 2. They March, written by TerraChron. Commander Male, I advise against this. They've been isolated for a reason. Barvale, your concerns have been noted. Mind that you are here only as a courtesy. Your knowledge of them has been invaluable. You've done your duty. Let us do ours. Yes, sir. I merely wanted my objection stated for the record. Understood. Refrain from repeating yourself again. Hammond, touch us down at the Lenin and proceed with occupation. Give me a status report every increment. Let me know when they've surrendered. Acknowledge, Commander. With their entire power grid destroyed, they won't put up much of a fight. Increment 1. Troops have touched down, minimal resistance. Without communication, there appears to be widespread panic. Their military seems to be fighting back with pre-ascension era kinetic weaponry. Nothing we can't handle. Increment 5. We have ignited major deposits of kinetic powder and fossil fuels to dissuade the use of military vehicles. Many humans laying down arms. Increment 39. Reports of humans taking psychokinetic blasts and remaining upright and fighting are false. Spreading of these rumors is considered an assault on morale and will be met with harsh disciplinary action. What do you mean they haven't surrendered yet? We've fried all of their electronics, destroyed their fuel. I don't care how sturdy they are. Without power, they can't do anything. Commander, if I may... You may not, Darvale. Increment 104. Reports of military convoys going missing are yet to be verified. Increment 166. After a short melee, human endoskeletons tougher than predicted. Camera feed shows entire platoon eviscerated with crude bludgeoning and piercing weapons. Human hit by hover tank main cannon is shown to get back up with surface-level lacerations and proceeds to taunt the vehicle while using an artificial front claws to tear into it. Feed cuts out shortly after. Release the rust plague, sir. If that goes against the military I'm not losing this war, Hammond. Increment 285. Reports of resistance lessen. Human pacification imminent. It really isn't. Shut up, Darvale. Increment 300. Human military leadership is missing. Mutiny? Unknown, sir. Increment 301. Human civilian leadership sent us a message delivered by courier. On screen. It's on a piece of processed wood, sir. What does it say? Suck it. Hammond, if it does not literally say suck it on that document, I'll feed you to my husband. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. It does, sir. They're taunting us, then. They have a secret weapon somewhere. Scan for energy signatures. White band. Commander, they're here. What do you mean they're here? They're outside. Well, take off. I'll land the ship on every last one of them if I have to. Sir, the engines aren't responding, sir. Give me outside cameras. Deploy all troops.
The camera showed the humans marching forward, clothes tattered, not a piece of metal on them. Many wore simple cloth and leather. Others had forgone all but the most basic of protection, having painted their skin in patterns to conform to that of ancient traditions. Those that could have grown beards. The army, wielding no visible weapons, marched forwards as chittering chitinous waves of enemy poured out of the mothership. They marched, all creeds and all colors together, all with a grim resolution in their heart and malicious glee in their eyes. As the wave of soldiers stopped before them and raised weapons, screeching for them to halt, they marched. They marched as fire was opened and barely slowed them down. Cannon fire threw some back, but they got up or were caught by those behind them. And then, when a few of their alien adversaries had begun to turn and flee, they stopped. Then one large human stepped forward, and then another. Along the entire line, humans stepped forward, imposing figures all. And as one, they opened their mouths and let out the fiercest, most terrifying battle cry their opponents had ever heard. Then they charged. An army 1,000 strong, on feet clothed in fur, leather, and nothing at all, were charged, the most advanced army in the world, and tore it to pieces with their bare hands in less than an hour. 20 minutes later, Commander Mail, the subjugator, was an unpleasant stain. "Hey, Dar. Hey, Steve. You find the engine room okay?" "Yeah, man, thanks. I tried to tell them. I really did. I know, buddy. No hard feelings." End of story. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.